Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling. Today, tonight, whenever you're listening to this, we've got some unreal. See what I did there? To talk about some unreal talk, brother. Because, of course, that documentary series has come out. And there's a lot regarding CM Punk. It's been unearthed on that. And a lot about John Cena as well. So let's dive into it. So, Triple H, Bruce Pritchard, and Michael Hayes, and pretty much everyone else on the creative team all wanted CM Punk to win at WrestleMania 41, despite Paul Heyman's betrayal. So they were asked about how should the show end. Night one, of course, which was Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins and CM Punk main eventing. Michael Hayes responded with Punk over. Triple H said, "I'm of the opinion that Punk should go over at WrestleMania," and Bruce Pritchard agreed with him. Doesn't really fill you with much hope for Bruce Pritchard, because everyone said he was a kiss ass for McMahon. He agreed with Triple H, but personally I don't really care who he agrees with, right? Triple H proposed the idea of Punk winning despite the betrayal of Heyman. He says, and I quote, is Heyman going to fuck Punk over? Like, is he in his corner, but he's still trying to do the shit for Roman? Punk should go over, and not only should Punk go over, but Heyman turns on him, doesn't work. Punk overcomes Paul, beats either Roman or Seth, whatever he's got to do, right? Punk survives, and not only survives, but thrives. End of quote. I'm actually going to call bullshit on this, because I think Punk at this point is already, he's won the McIntyre feud. I mean, he's already won the Seth Rollins feud, for being honest, but imagine if Seth Rollins doesn't win. I mean, who needed it more? I mean, it was so predictable that Seth was going to win, and Heyman was going to turn on him. And looking at the aftermath, to be honest, we could have probably got a scenario where he turned and it didn't work. I don't think it would have been that too much of a disaster. Like, I think there's honestly such a short list of people that can get betrayed in a match and still go on to win it. I mean, again, it doesn't get done very often, but you have to be, you have to be an absolute star to get this sort of stuff against you. I mean, this has to be reserved for, I mean, it's so surreal talking about it, but it has to be reserved for guys like Hogan in the past, RIP, and like Austin, Super Cena at his height. CM Punk going into WrestleMania 41 doesn't feel like that compared to Reigns and Rollins, but like I said, it is, in fact, the way it's booked, and it is ironic, hindsight, looking at it and being like, right, well, if they actually went with Punk winning, then it would have been alright, because Rollins got injured now. People are still hanging out for the fact that Seth Rollins is coming back at SummerSlam to cost Punk. I just don't see that. I mean, honestly, to me, no. Triple H then went on to say, there's always logical roads to go down to get the story where you want it to. Well, hold on. There's always logical roads to go down to get the story where you want it to. And sometimes the logical road becomes predictable. If it becomes predictable, you need to pivot. End of quote. So hold on. There's always logical roads to go down to get the story where you want it to. And sometimes the logical road becomes predictable. And if it becomes predictable, you need to pivot. Well, I think they went with the most predictable option they could have went with, which was Rollins turning after Heyman turned on Reigns and CM Punk. So I think they failed in terms of making it unpredictable. But you have to say it the three. I mean, Rollins was the one that made the most sense. But maybe the Punk idea wouldn't have been as bad if they actually went down this road. But then I think it just makes him look too strong in a match where, yeah, he feels better than Rollins, but compared to Reigns still feels like the guy, or at least did, in that Mania main event. So I don't, like, why does Punk need to look so strong? Punk's gotta look so strong in that. He comes out on top of the McIntyre feud, rarely fucking loses. I think it just highlights the fact that Triple H knows that Punk is just better than the likes of Rollins, your McIntyres, even like your Kevin Owens. But that's what he had to say. Well, SVP of Creative Writing Ed Koskey explained the idea to have Rollins emerge victorious. So let's have a wee listen to this real laugh. And I quote, Punk going over is great, but Heyman decides to go with Seth and ends up that way. Feels much more shocking of this whole time. Seth manipulated this whole deal. Seth going over just feels like a better story to me. Roman and Heyman have such a run of where they become synonymous that breaking them up at WrestleMania at the main event is like something that's worthy of that end of quote. And again, it just feels very, I mean, I see when you actually see some clips of that Unreal, it's so fake. Like Triple H is hugging Shane Helms, right? And he's like, oh, these women, they do it 5 times faster than us, you know, they learn. The guys doing NXT are still so slow, but the women, seeing that Unreal, see the fact there's cameras in behind the scenes, and also how woke the fucking world is and politically correct. You're never ever in a million fucking, I can guarantee you this, right, listen to this, there's actually going to be more edgy stuff said in the ring in WWE than there's going to be said backstage. Work that one out. I mean, Triple H, man, saying that about the women. No, I mean, this is a guy that grew up when wrestling, well, he was not grew up, like, he was fucking in it. You know, when I grew up, and millions of others, man, it just doesn't fucking, it's just tragic hearing him, like, hug Shane Helms and pretend that the women are so fucking good and that the men are so fucking bad. It's like, oh, it's kind of funny to a degree. But most of the creative team, will move on to this, wanted CM Punk or John Cena to actually win the 2025 Men's Royal Rumble match. So we'll get into some quotes here. We'll get into some quotes, absolutely. If the two options are Cena and Punk, I'd say Cena, because this is his final year. I feel like it should be play the hits. I think it's more of a classic moment in time. Hey, I remember John Cena's last year, he won the Rumble. That feels like it to me, whereas I think Punk could do the Chamber. Obviously, Cena didn't win the Rumble, and then Punk didn't win the Chamber either, because Cena won the Chamber, but Jey Uso won the Rumble. Jey Uso ended up, that's what Michael Hayes says about Jey Uso. I think in the case of Jey Uso, when somebody catches fire, they just catch fire. And sometimes you have to alternate all your plans. Who do we have on our roster that's hot? That's hopefully is maybe new and fresh. All of a sudden Jey Uso's checking all the boxes. Then you have to start and wonder, is that individual up to the task? End of quote. But again, it's like I've seen the clip, folks, right? And I mean, I'm sure everybody's kind of seen it on their Twitter, where it's like they're asking, right, who should, they're on the creators writing team, who should win the Rumble? And what do they turn around and say? Cena. Keep saying Cena, and then you get a few mentions of Punk. No one's even bothering their arse turned around saying this or that. And here, I wasn't privy to the creative meetings on the McMahon, but how weak is it the Triple H, you know, the head guy, the guy should want it to go his way, right, what's best for business, all that shit. How fucking weak does it, him sitting at the head of the table, you know, the creative table and the WWE table, asking like 10 million people around, like, so who do we want to win? And Triple H really having like no input apart from, it feels like Triple H has got the same fucking input as a Shane Helms, a Michael Hayes. And back in the day it was McMahon, with people, you know, tweaking his ideas and also like storylines, Russo. I mean, that's when it was great. But McMahon had the final say. It doesn't feel like Triple H's got the final say in anything here. Kind of funny, folks, but yeah, we'll leave it there.